Well, put your hands together for Supermac! And Malcolm, as Malcolm gets the photograph taken, can I just, let's have a little bit of practice what we did before. E-I-E-I-E-I-O, up the Premier League we go. When we get to Europe, this is what we sing. We're Geordie, Super Geordies, Eddie is our king. E-I-E-I-E-I-O, up the Premier League we go. When we get to Europe, this is what we sing. We're Geordie, Super Geordies, Eddie is our king. We are doing the Supermac. Malcolm. Now, if you come here every week, you will know that I usually ask Malcolm a question about Chris Wood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it out of the way now. Malcolm, what did you think of Chris Wood's chance at the end of the game?
Actually, I met him yesterday.
No! I sit in the ground. I sit next to Ian Bergie, who is a former Newcastle United player, who's going to be the next Gaza, top man. Now he told me you were at the training ground yesterday, giving the strikers some advice. What advice did you give to Chris?
Never be afraid to miss. If you're going to score goals, you've got to miss them as well. So never be put off by a miss. Yeah, and I think that Chris Wood took my words to heart, and he's continued missing.
Right, Chris, he will get a goal, and I've got to be honest, I stood up again and cheered when he came on. Good luck to Chris. Anyway, Malcolm, Newcastle United 4, Aston Villa, sub on the time, 0. How satisfying was that, by the way? It was a game of two halves.
Yes, it was. Aston Villa were very negative, and when you think that with all the stoppages that they caused, it went to 10 minutes of added time. Ridiculous. And they paid for it because Newcastle got the first goal in all of that added time. And so that stuffed Aston Villa to start with. But I think the real key to it was that very quickly in the second half, Newcastle got that all-important second goal. And from there, the Aston Villa heads went down. They knew the game was beyond them, and Newcastle really started to apply the pressure, and they played very, very well indeed from there on. So, yeah, they can deal with the negativity. You know, this side, it's still learning and learning all the time, but also they are all together. They're really pulling hard together, and it's a joy to watch them. Frustrating in the first half, but by heavens they got it right in the second. And I thought I was really sorry for oh dear me, what's his name? For the guy who came on as a sub and went on the left-hand side and he hit the post. Jacob Murphy, yeah. I really felt sorry for him. It was a great strike and he deserved to go in. But the Almiron finish was fantastic. Wilson, he just does his job as it's called for at the time. Great penalty, then he gets another one, and then Joe Linton slides in. You know, he seems to be a better goal scorer on his arse than he does on his feet.
Let's look at this, Malcolm. In the grand scheme of things, Newcastle United are still fourth. We talked about it pre-match. We're going to talk about it after match. Had Spurs not managed to turn it around in those dying minutes today, Newcastle would be third. Are we really daring to dream here?
Well, yeah, always dream. That's good. You know, we've been used to 15 years of nightmares. So, yeah, dream away. I think that what we're actually seeing is the birth of something really special that's going to keep going on for season after season, getting better and better and better and better. And the improvement has been absolutely rapid, way beyond I think the dreams of the board at Newcastle. Whether it's beyond what Eddie Howe thought he could do, I don't know, but it is very quick. And they were complaining, I will say this again, that they were complaining that Newcastle are going to throw millions and billions in the transfer market at bringing success to St James Park. Well, Newcastle United, all that they paid for the new signings in the summer wasn't as much as Man United spent on Anthony. And so, they cannot look at Newcastle and say, you're doing it by cheating, you're doing it just because you've got the money. This is actually bloody good football management, football coaching and football skills out on the pitch.
I think one thing that really stood out for me today was when Jamal Lascelles came on the pitch. Kieran Trippier ran straight over to him and put the captain's armband on his arm. And I tell you what, if there's a moment in today's game which sums up the unity that we've got in our squad, in our dressing room, that was it.
I couldn't agree more. It was a magnanimous gesture, yeah, by Trippier, and it just shows that everybody, absolutely everybody, is in it together, and they're in it to win as well. That's the wonderful thing, and let's all enjoy it because this success that Newcastle is starting to latch on to, it's going to go on for a very long time. We are really in for some special years ahead.
Brazil, who I think, to be honest, if Southgate England don't go very far in the World Cup, will be every Newcastle fan's second team. So whatever happens in the World Cup, I think we'll all be wearing a yellow shirt if England go out. The manager was in the stand today, obviously watching Bruno, watching Coutinho. He'll have been watching Joe Linton today. He must have been impressed by our Big Joe today, or Big Joe, as Steve Bruce used to call him.
Yes, I'm sure that he was impressed, but I think he would have equally been impressed with Bruno, and I would be very surprised if the two of them aren't in his plans for the World Cup. Certainly, the pair of them will bolster the squad. Of that I'm convinced. I just wonder who Gareth Southgate was looking at. Trippier, I think, is an absolute must for the first spot, for the first team spot in the England side, because not only is he a terrific defender, but he gets forward and he's so dangerous when he is forward. He creates things all the time, but it's his infectious contribution to getting a team spirit going all around the pitch, and I think it's absolutely wonderful just to watch him in action. And he's talking all the time to players and geeing them up, telling them where they're wrong and what to do right, and I think that he is vitally important, not only to Newcastle, but I think also to the England side. And the only thing that I'm a little concerned about is that it could well be that Southgate calls Callum Wilson up and takes him to the World Cup, and is he going to come back fit? That's the big question. Is he going to come back fit? Because I do feel that Callum Wilson, not only is he he will score goals always. But it's what he does for the rest of the side, and particularly Almiron. Almiron, once Wilson was back in the side fit, Almiron has just shone and is absolutely playing out of his skin. And I think that's down to Wilson more than Eddie Howe.
Southampton away next week. Newcastle United have a decent record at St Mary's. When we used to go to the Dell, it was an absolute nightmare. Give us a prediction for next week's game.
I think the way that Newcastle are playing, then you say the opposition won't score. And so, it's just a question of how many Newcastle can score. And I'll take them, I'll take Newcastle to win 1-0.
The last thing I want you to do, Malcolm, you do know your alphabet, Malcolm, don't you? But I just want you to say E-I-E-I-E-I-O.
E-I-E-I-E-I-O.
When we get to Europe, this is what we sing. We're Geordie, Super Geordie's head. He is our king. Big head from Malcolm McDonald, Supermac.
Stay in touch on if there is an opportunity. Take care.